Stefan, a councilman says that there's a loophole in state law that does not make it illegal for local police to have sex with someone in their custody. He wants to change that. Meanwhile, the woman who says she was picked up by NYPD detectives here at this park last month says she never gave consent.
She's an emotional wreck at this point.
The attorney for the woman accusing 2 NYPD detectives of rape while she was handcuffed says she is happy the officers were arrested, but frustrated they've already been released. Attorney for the woman accusing 2 NYPD detectives of rape while she was handcuffed says she is happy the officers were arrested, but frustrated they've already been released.
She's not happy that they're free. They got very low bail. Anybody else that was indicted for rape and kidnapping either would get a very high bail or would be given no bail.
It's rape and kidnapping. Prosecutors say they handcuffed the 18-year-old at this Brooklyn park after finding marijuana and prescription drugs in her car. The DA says the officers drove the woman to a nearby parking lot and took turns sexually assaulting her.
PD officer Valerie Cincinnati, seen in a 2017 photo standing next to her now estranged husband, long before she allegedly hatched a plot to have him murdered. FBI agents took the 34-year-old mother of 2 out of her Oceanside, Long Island home in their custody Friday afternoon, and agents were still at the home later in the evening. Neighbors we spoke with, who did not want to go on camera, all separately described a nasty marriage breakup, arguments in the street, and hinted at Officer Cincinnati's temper. How she allegedly tried to persuade her boyfriend, he's CS in the complaint, to hire a hitman to kill not just her estranged husband, but, and listen to this carefully, also have that hitman murder her boyfriend's teenage daughter for $7,000. He wore a wire and recorded his conversations in which prosecutors say Cincinnati discussed how to carry out the murders and alibis when it was time for the cover-up.
Under a new state law that requires local cops charged with killing civilians to be tried by the Attorney General.
Yeah, the shooting was caught on tape. Officer Wayne Isaacs is now charged with murder in the road rage shooting of Delron Small back in July. NJ Burkett was in court today.
Investigators say this grainy surveillance video shows the confrontation. In an instant, Small is shot 3 times, staggers away, collapses, and dies. Small was unarmed, since he was named special prosecutor for cases involving the deaths of unarmed civilians at the hands of police.
Balanced himself on the sidewalk on his hands and knees. Deputy Commissioner of Trials Rosemarie Maldonado found that Officer Pandoleo consciously disregarded the substantial and unjustifiable risk of maneuver explicitly prohibited by the department. She found that during the struggle, Officer Pandoleo had the opportunity to readjust his grip from a prohibited chokehold to a less lethal alternative, but did not make use of that opportunity. Instead, even once Mr. Garner was moved to his side on the ground with his left arm behind his back and his right hand still open and extended, Officer Pantaleo kept his hands clasped and maintained the chokehold. Mr. Garner's obvious distress is confirmed when he coughs and grimaces. Moreover, Trials Commissioner Maldonado found that Officer Pantaleo's conduct caused physical injury that meets the penal law threshold and that his recklessness caused multi-layered internal bruising and hemorrhaging that impaired Mr. Garner's physical condition and caused substantial pain and was a significant factor in triggering.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Harakah Hakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. That is peace to the elect. I want to do a short video just going into thinking about this whole topic with the Black Hebrew Israelites and the SPLC, which stands for Southern Poverty Law Center. Looking at this Jake's channel, I believe he's waking up to the fact he's an Israelite, African Diaspora News Channel, okay, and his original channel was called The Advice Show. So I saw a video that he did. He goes in on these topics, and I said, okay, I'll touch in on the other end, so to speak. Okay, and the first thing I thought is, why isn't the NYPD being labeled in the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, as a hate group? And in fact, their roots go back to that. Okay, when you do the research, why aren't they listed as a hate group? Okay. There's been several incidents. We could say Eric Garner. Several incidents, not just the NYPD, but several other police forces across the globe, or let me say in America, that has shed innocent blood. Now, have killed Jake, even though he may have been out of control. When it was someone of another nationality, he wouldn't do it, but it's blacks and Hispanics. Okay? Which brings me to this part, okay? This article here, okay? This is Isaiah 10:1 here. It says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees." They write these false, ridiculous laws, and as I did a video previous on the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is all set up to destroy and take your rights. And this is why they're targeting. They knew when they set this up that, you know, they read the Bible. They know that they learned some things, that this is a rebellious people. A lot of these people know that we're the Israelites, okay? So they already had it in the making to set this SPLC up. So when we decided to stand up for future rights and speak against this government, we will already be labeled as a terrorist, okay? So let's read this article. This person here said, "I got tired of hunting black and Hispanic people." Okay, it goes on to say, New York, at a police station tucked into an end-of-the-line subway terminal in South Brooklyn, the new commander instructed officers to think of white and Asian people as soft targets, and urged them instead to go after blacks and Latinos and minor for minor offenses like jumping the turnstile. Okay, a half dozen officers said in sworn statements, "You are stopping too many Russian and Chinese." One of the officers, Daniel Perez, recalled the commander telling him earlier this decade. Another officer, Aaron Diaz, recalled the same commander saying in 2012, "You should write more black and Hispanic people." This proves that we're the Israelites. This also proves that you got guys that say the Hispanics and the natives are not Israelites. We fit in these same curses, man. Okay, it says the sworn statement gathered in the last few months as part of the discrimination lawsuit deal with the period between 2011 and 2015, but they are now emerging publicly at a time when policing in the subway has become a contentious issue, sparking protests, okay, over a crackdown, okay, on face invasion and other low-level offenses. So you get the point, you know. The commander, Constantino, whatever his name, Tashas, was in charge of more than 100 officers who patrolled a swath of the subway system in Brooklyn. His first major command since then, he has been promoted to the second in command of policing the subway system throughout Brooklyn. Along the way, more than half a dozen subordinates claim he gave them explicit directives about whom to arrest based on race. Okay, so why? Because of these cops, because of all the bad cops in the NYPD and across the globe, okay, and across America, why isn't the SPLC labeling the New York Police Department a hate group? Why aren't they labeling them a hate group? Now, because of the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, see, at least we call them by what y'all say to call them, the NYPD. Now, if we call them the racist NYPD, you'd have a problem with it. But we're calling the NYPD. Meanwhile, you calling us the black Hebrew Israelites, and we never claimed to be black Hebrew Israelites. And us at Great Millstone, we teach that Israelites are going to look like different nations. That's why y'all don't want us to come together. Y'all didn't even want us and the other nations, the other Israelites that look like other nations to come together. That's where the threat is. You have to understand, which they will not. That's why they're putting this target on us as black Hebrew Israelites. Okay? So why are they doing that? Because they want to label us as a hate group. Meanwhile, the KKK, as they label as a hate group, was lynching, was killing, was going around massacring, raping and killing and murdering. Okay? The Christians that came here, so-called Christians, was doing the same thing. So the deeds of a few, you label a whole community, and these people that they claim was linked to the black Hebrew Israelites, I don't see have any ties with anybody. And if you understood the scriptures that we read and what we teach, we never taught that. We never taught to go around and shoot and hurt anybody. So where are they getting this from? Why isn't the Southern Poverty Law Center is nothing more than a non-profit organization that was set up by a few lawyers in 1970, supposedly, okay, to end racial discrimination. But what it was all set up to do was end your freedom of speech. Okay? Go look it up. Genesis 9:6. Whoso sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. This goes to Revelations, I believe, 13:9. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Okay? For the image of God made he man. Okay? So I don't know what Bible the Christians are reading, these so-called soft shoe Christians. I don't know what book they're reading, but they're not reading the Bible that we read. They're saying we're using the Bible is for hate and destruction. And we're not doing anything. We haven't went around like the KKK went around holding the Bible, lynching people, using the Bible, telling us to obey them, okay, castrating us, lynching us. When did a Hebrew Israelite do that? But give it time. Give it time. You got to understand the media, they'll set up the narrative of anything. They'll set some agents up, and I'm not even going to give them any ideas, but you get the point. This is what they do. And they're going to blame the Hebrew Israelites. But at the same time, we've never went around, and we don't teach that. So how are you going to label a group on the deeds of 2-3 people, or even if it's 20 people? You can't do that. Okay? But this is how they get down. I mean, when the 9/11 incident happened, which was all set up, we all know that. I think everybody knows it. They supposedly went in to try to capture a couple of people, so-called Muslims or Arabs or whatever. They blamed it on the whole Islamic religion. Somebody sent me a pamphlet a couple months back, and they was passing them around saying that, hey, we don't teach hurt anyone. We're just peaceful Muslims that worship the way we worship. Why are you blaming us on a cell basically that was set up? Everybody knows what this man is doing. It's not even a secret. That's why they're trying to kill the internet. It's not even a secret. So, you know, but this is what they do. And then what they did is they labeled the war on terror, and they linked it to Islam and called it the cells and this and that. Islam, the so-called Islam religion had nothing to do with no bombing of no damn towers, man. But this is what they do, man. And and years ago, when you saw the face of terrorism, it was a so-called Muslim face, you know. Well, now we can see what they've been doing even with the Muslims. Now you can see the face of terror. It looked like our face of the regular so-called black man. So now we don't escape terrorism, having the face of terrorism. So now we're the terrorists. Okay? Any threat to this man's system becomes a terrorist. The biggest threat with the Hebrew Israelite thing is that this Bible is true. That's all I have on that. Shalom.